Do you include your kids, your children, into all parts of your life? One of the things I love doing is I love homeschooling our kids. It gives them an opportunity to sit down and see what it's like to run a business, what it's like to work with our attorneys, our CPAs, our advisors. They get to hear it, they get to see it. Justice is now 17, be a senior this year in high school. He has some questions here. Now what's interesting is I don't know what these questions are. And so let's go.
Okay, so there are 5 topics. So this is topic 1 is about family and childhood. What is your earliest memory?
What is my earliest memory? So growing up, mom and dad had a timeshare down near Orlando near Disney World. And I was probably about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. I can remember that. That same year, I remember catching a catfish with him on the beach. We were saltwater fishing and they slipped out of my hand. I went to catch it. And the prongs of the catfish went through my hand into my leg. And here I'm on the beach, and I got this catfish stuck to me. It is squirming, and of course I'm screaming like a little baby because I am at that point. I would probably be screaming today, and it stuck to me. And Dad had to cut the prongs out, and then pull those barbs out of my leg and my hand. It hurt. I can remember those two as my earliest memories.
Okay, what was your favorite toy or game as a child?
Under 12, I remember playing the original Nintendo. Like way back, we had Atari and then we had a Nintendo. And there was this game called Contra. I love the game of Contra. And there was like this cheat code. If I remember right, it was something like up, down, left, right, A, B, select start. And I think they gave you unlimited lives. Hey friends, if I'm right on that cheat code, y'all let me know. I think from like 40 years later, I think that was a cheat code. But I can remember playing that in Contra. As I got older, I loved chess. Chess taught me how to do strategy. You and I play chess. We talk about strategy and how to move and think several steps ahead. And so I like those two games. It's a lot of fun. That's why I have you guys play chess now.
Can you share a memorable family tradition from your childhood?
Every fall, we would go to Washington, Georgia and hunt for a couple of weeks. From the time I was about 12 years old until even whenever you were born, you remember going hunting with Pops. That was a big deal for us. That was a lot of fun.
What was your relationship with your siblings growing up? Like, what was it like?
It was interesting. There's a lot of regrets I have there. Me and Uncle Grant fought like cats and dogs. Whenever we didn't, we were working together. He and I could work really good together. Whenever we didn't, I was not the kindest brother I should have been. Aunt Sarah and I, we had a great time. She was always compliant, easy to deal with. Overall, I mean, we did okay. We had our moments like every siblings do. A lot of regrets there, specifically with my brother, but yeah, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask that question?
Mainly because I can compare it to me and Jude.
Do you and Jude fight a lot?
Oh, yeah.
If you watch like in the wild, we've seen bear cubs and the cubs wrestle with each other. And I think that's the way God designed brothers and sisters to work with each other and get them prepared for life. Because when you get out in this business world, it's tough. It was preparing us to be where we're at today in life. So I think that's part of the natural progression.
Did you have a childhood hero or someone you looked up to?
Man, I had a lot of heroes. So mom and dad were my heroes, number one. They were best friends. They taught us so much. But outside of them, there's 5 men. I won't say their names for their sake. They all spoke into my life. They took a passionate interest in me. They all were different. Most of them were working blue-collar guys. One was an academic. One was a minister. Outside of those men, I had a few people that I listened to. And you heard me this morning on the way to the work. Anytime I have the kids in the car and we're driving somewhere more than about 15 minutes, I'm going to put some speaker on because I want them to be influenced by people that I allow speak in my life. So this morning, we were listening to Ed Milet. I like listening to Ed Milet. I like his attitude. I like his faith. I like the way he speaks, and I can listen to him with the kids in the car, and I'm not worried about what he's going to say. That's going to be different than what Emily and I are teaching our children. Remember Zig Ziglar, I remember Les Brown, Dr. Miles Monroe. You've heard me listen to Dave Ramsey since you were a baby, since Savannah. She was over here playing behind the camera right now. And since Savannah was a baby, I've listened to Dave Ramsey, John Maxwell. Everything rises and falls on leadership. These are the people that mom and dad introduced me to, and to this day, I let them speak in my life. Why? Because they're good principles that'll help anybody overcome this negative thoughts, overcome victim mentality. You and I talk about it all the time. We see it with people around us. Those people who speak in that light, man, that you can't get enough of them.
Education and careers. So
okay, education.
Switching topics.
Okay.
What was your favorite subject in school and why?
I liked music. I like music. That was my favorite subject. Why? Because it's my way of worship. Why? Because I can hear it and I can make it happen on especially the piano. Why? Because I had a teacher that cared about me.
Did you have a dream job when you were younger?
At the age of 6, I told mom that I wanted to ride on the back of the trash truck. I thought it'd be amazing to hang off the back of the trash truck. I mean, back when I was a kid, we didn't have that little arm that picked up the trash can. Now we have to take ours to the sanitation area, but they used to ride on the back of the truck, and you'd see them coming down the street. They were hanging off. It's like, I want to be that guy. Why not? I mean, it was a great dream of mine. You asked.
Okay. What was your first job and what did you learn from it?
So Pops told me the week I turned 15, he said, hey, you're going to be 15 this Friday, I think it was, maybe Thursday or Saturday. I don't remember the exact date. He said, but if you don't have a job by this weekend, don't come home. And what he was teaching me is that ultimately I could be my own business owner. So throughout the week, I had to follow his rules. And literally the last day I cut a man's yard down the road with a push mower and made $40 in a couple of hours. Kind of like what you're doing now.
Uh-huh.
You're working hard, you're making pretty good money working for others. And he taught me, he said, hey, look, if you work for somebody else, you're always going to be beholden to their schedule or time. But if you work for yourself, you're going to make your own pathway. And since that day, I've only had one or two W-2 jobs, partially because of selling the companies.
Okay. Can you describe a pivotal moment in your career?
A pivotal. At the age of 38, I was standing on a West Virginia mountain, and I realized I had not accomplished the dreams I promised my 19-year-old self. We were raising a family. We were falling forward. We failed a lot. We faced a lot of resistance. We had a period of time whenever you were just a baby that mom and I had a 7 years of hardship, hard time, lots of tears, lots of stress. And sit on the mountaintop that day. I said, enough's enough. We're either going to make this thing happen or we're not. Let's quit playing small. Let's think big. And we started thinking big, and a lot changed. And now you see some of the benefits of that mindset where it said, hey, we're going to think big. And so many people today, they play so small. They play on a protection mode. And I really believe that playing small is a sin. I really believe that. God's gifted you and your brother and your sister in a way that only you have been gifted. And if you don't utilize those gifts to your highest and fullest capabilities, then not only you're letting down God, but you're letting down all the training that has been poured into you. Most of all, you're letting yourself down, your future self and your present self. Think about in the Bible, Jesus tells a parable of the talents. The good master gives 3 talents out, or 3 sets of talents to 3 sets of people. And the one hid their talent in the soil. And whenever he came back, he's like, the master said, how dare you? You're an unfaithful servant. And he took that talent away and gave it to the person who had doubled. He gave 5 and he doubled it to 10. And the idea behind that is that if God gives us something, we're supposed to use it and be stewards of that to the best of our abilities and not allow fear or anything else to persuade us. So I firmly believe that playing small is a sin, and I firmly believe, to your question, that we've got to race forward hard.
What advice would you give your younger self about work and life?
The only people that want to see you succeed in life is your mom and your dad. They want to see you succeed greater than they've ever seen it. They succeed. I'd say that number one. So love your mom and dad, listen to them, gain counsel from them. But oftentimes you're going to outgrow them. So you got to find people in your life who've accomplished what you desire to accomplish and surround yourself with them. What they're going to do is they're going to stretch your thinking. They're going to allow you to see things that you've never seen before. They're going to allow you to think in a way that you've never thought before. You hear me say this all the time. If you think you can or think you can't, you're right. How many times? I say it daily, don't I? Just about every single day. So if I were talking to my younger self, I'd say, number one, listen to your mom and dad because they care about you more than anything in life. If you don't have a parent, listen to that person who's your substitute mom and dad that you've asked them to step in that part. But then surround yourself with those people who've accomplished what you want to accomplish and listen to them. Look at what they've done. You only got time. Time is your most valuable asset. And it's so fast. I used to think when I was your age, dude, that 45 years old, they were old people. Now I'm sitting there going, man, 45, I'll kick your tail. You know I will, huh? But at this phase of life, it's like life is so much shorter than whenever you're looking through it now. So how in the world can you accelerate this learning curve? The way you do it is through other people's experiences. Number one. Number two is money is not the goal. Money is a tool. Money is a tool to help you accomplish the mission that God's given you. That's what I would tell my younger self. And money is so easy to get. Money is simple to make. It is so easy to make, especially with y'all's work ethic as we've been training you guys. I don't care about algebra and all that other nonsense in school. That's ridiculous. But all this stuff around knowing how to work, how to keep your character, how to look a person in the face and keep your word and do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it, deliver better than what you told them you're going to do. If you hold those principles that I've been teaching you, your mom's been teaching you, you'll never go hungry. You, your brother or sister, you'll never be without.
All right, this is topic 3. This is about personal interests and hobbies. What hobbies or activities do you enjoy in your free time?
What do you think I'd say to that?
Hunting, fishing, laying on the beach, Call of Duty, and reading, pretty much.
I like those. I like playing piano.
Piano.
Yep. So my free time, I love to hunt. I love getting out in God's creation. I love fishing. I like watching you guys catch fish. You know, when your sister was on those big fish and she's struggling, it makes me laugh. She's trying to reel them in. She's trying, and she's back here shaking her head, and that's fun to watch. Whenever you and Ju were on those big fish, it was so much fun to watch. I like scuba diving. Whenever Savannah and I were 130 foot down, we look around and there's a bull shark swimming by her, and her eyes are this big around, and I'm laughing, and we see that big moray eel. That's fun times.
Is there a skill or hobby you always wanted to learn?
I think it'd be interesting to learn how to play the banjo. My papa used to play the banjo really good. And I think that'd be interesting to learn. I just don't think right now I'm ready for that because I want to dedicate 100% to it. In terms of a skill, at this point, I am diligently increasing my communication skills so that I can become a better communicator to impact not only our family, but the millions of people that I believe God's going to allow us to impact.
What type of music do you enjoy, and has it changed over time?
Oh, man. So, yeah, I like 80s hair bands. I like 80s rock. Love it. Love 80s rock. You know, I love me some Marvin Gaye. I like I like Wilson Pickett. He's my favorite musician of all times. You know that. I love Wilson Pickett. Has it changed over time? As a kid, I remember listening to jazz. I like jazz music. I remember classical because I was playing the piano. And but nah, man, I like me some R&B, some old blues like Wilson Pickett, Louis Armstrong. I just like that genre of music. It just gets me in my soul.
Okay. Do you have a favorite book or author?
I have a lot of favorite books. A lot of favorite books. So I read 5 books a year. You've seen these books. You've read these books. Mm-hmm. I like the book of Proverbs. Solomon wrote that. It's a book of wisdom. And I think if we can apply Proverbs every day to our life, it would help us just avoid so much heartache. You've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. How'd you do that? I love that book because it's about mindset, and mindset conquers everything. I believe with all my heart. I like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many times have you heard me play that on the road trip, right? The very first principle in the book. Remember it? The rich don't.
Was it work for money?
The rich don't work for money. Principle number 1, right off the bat. The rich don't work for money. Why? They pursue what they desire to pursue, and they get paid out of their creativity. I love that book. I like the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. You got that on your list this year by George Clawson. It talks about the principle of paying yourself first. And then I like Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover.
I'd say in one part of the house, you probably have about 200 books.
200 books, and I've read every one.
That's just in one spot of the house.
Do you realize we don't have a TV in our living room?
Nope.
There's no TV in our living room, friends. Now that sounds weird. People come over like, where's your TV? We have a TV. It's up in the bonus room where we go play Call of Duty and I kick his tail on a regular basis. But the idea being is that the most successful people in the world don't have televisions. They have libraries. And I wanted my children to see their dad and mom reading. And the more that you can gain knowledge, you realize through a book, you can get someone's entire life story, all of their wisdom, condensed down to 300 or 400 pages. And you can glean that and you can apply it and not make the same mistakes they made and actually celebrate your life. You can't do that through watching TV. No, I'm not against watching TV. I'm not. And Mom and I do it every night. We that's our veg time. We after the kids go to bed and it's time for us to go to sleep, we literally turn the TV on some sort of a cop show. Like right now, watching NCIS. It's a cool little show, and Agent Gibbs solves all the world's problems. We love Agent Gibbs, but we get through about 30 minutes of the show, and I'm asleep. And it's really we're not watching it. It's mine and her time to talk and kind of decompress, and we go to sleep. That's about the extent of our television. Why? Because we're readers, and we believe that knowledge multiplies impact. That's what we believe.
I don't think we ever had cable.
We've never had cable.
We never had cable.
You're okay? You can be okay with
Yeah.
it? You sure?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I got YouTube.
You got YouTube, you punk.
Okay.
Oh,
What kind of movies or TV shows do you prefer?
I like action. I like the Maverick movie, even the original Top Gun. I like those action type shows. If it's TV, I don't really care. We like lawyers and police shows. Pretty easy to watch.
2 more topics left. This is the 4th one. It's about relationships and life lessons.
Okay.
How did you meet Mom, and what was your first impression?
So we were introduced to each other through a mutual friend who was at our wedding. And then we talked on the phone for about 45, 60 days before we ever saw each other face to face. We had a photo back when you didn't have Instagram and internet and all this other stuff. And I knew she was a pretty girl. And then I drove up to meet her about 60 days afterwards. We were at church. She played the organ. And after church, we went on a date. And the very first time she saw me, she looked at me and she said, "I got to have that guy." That's what she said. That's the way I remember it. Just saying. I remember her looking and saying, "Man, he is hot." Now, the rest of my family and Emily won't agree with that, but that's the way I remember it, and I'm telling the story. And then we got married in December of that year. So we met each other on the phone in February or March, and we got married in December. That was almost 25 years ago.
All right. What qualities do you value the most in a friend?
I think there's several different types of friends. You have friends that make you laugh. They're fun friends. You have friends that will hold your hand or hold your head whenever you have heartache. You have those friends that are play friends. They're there to come along. You go hunting. We go hunting with our play friends. We go fishing with our play friends. And then you have those friends that are confidants. Like if I called this guy's name and I said, "Hey, it's 3 a.m., get the shovel." He's like, "I'm on my way. Where are we burying the body?" You know who that person is. Those are your trusted confidants. And they're the ones who keep you centered. They're the ones who call your junk out, right? So friends play a vital part in our life. The danger that we have in our society today, and this is one of the things that we've done differently, is today's society is all about chasing the pigskin or chasing the leather ball. And families are torn apart for the sake of sports. You see this with your friends. Some kids go here, mama goes here, and some kids over here, and daddy goes here, and they're separated all week. And then they come back together for a brief, and they're exhausted, and they go to sleep, and they don't have a family unit, much less the ability to have friendships. People are too busy. We live in this crazy busy world. And so I've decided years ago that we're not going to do that. We're going to be a family. And as a family, we're going to play together. And there's a few friends of ours that have that same belief system, and they come near us and we work together. We play as a families together with these friends. I believe they have a vital part in our world.
Can you share a life lesson you learned the hard way?
Every person who lives on this earth is going to face adversity. Every single person. And as we're facing adversity, we learn lessons oftentimes after the fact. One lesson I can remember specifically is I should listen to my gut, intuition, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. Whenever something just doesn't sit right, there's 2 sides to every equation. There's the positive and the negative. Sometimes, because I'm always charging, let's go. I see the positive and I avoid the negative. And that's served very well. We've been able to accomplish a lot because of that mindset of there's a mountain, let's go, right? But I've also faced a lot of heartache by not weighing all the calculated risk. And so one of the things I've learned is actually comes from scripture. Proverbs 31:10 says this, and I can remember the Episcopalian priest who taught me this principle. Proverbs 31:10 says, "The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, and he shall have no need of spoil." That's King James Version of it. So Proverbs 31, it talks about the godly wife, right? So mom is a godly wife. She is that Proverbs 31 person. Whenever I don't listen to mom, we have problems. She has this certain intuition that God did give me that she can see. And whenever I discounted that intuition, it led to some of the hardest heartaches I've ever had. And so after the fact, my dear friend, Episcopalian priest for over 30 years now, since gone to heaven, he said, listen to your wife. She has something you don't have. And that's every one of us who have a significant other or a spouse. God put us together to complement and to make us complete. And so she can hear things. I was too prideful in our early marriage that I wouldn't listen to those, and I regretted a lot of it. Now I ask her everything, as you see. We talk about everything. There's nothing hidden whatsoever because I trust her.
What does success mean to you?
How do you think I'd answer that question?
What does it mean to you? No amount of money can buy a second of time. Something like that.
You're close. You're close. So that's real close, actually. That's well said. No amount of money can buy a second of time. I agree with that. Money's not worth it. Money is so cheap and fleeting. I believe success is this: discovering God's unique calling on your life and pursuing that calling with every bit of energy that you have, placing every resource, every habit, every talent, every bit of your life to that purpose. And whether or not you actually achieve that calling, knowing that you pursued that calling with all of your heart, to me is success. Success is not found, in my opinion, in the bank account. It's not. It's not. It's found to me in living a life on mission for whom God designed you to be.
How do you handle challenges or setbacks?
You first have to understand that we're all going to face challenges. We're all going to face setbacks. Life is a setback. But it's all in how you frame it. If we look at the challenge, or if we look at the setback through this mind that it's there to harm me, then we don't make any progress or advancement on it. Okay. But if we frame it in this mindset that, hey, this challenge or this setback is protecting me and preparing me for what the future holds, it reframes the situation to where it's not against me, it's for me. So whenever someone says, man, I'm living in the past, I'm living in regret, reframe the situation. That hard time you went through is preparing you for the breakthrough. It's preparing you for this next victory in front of you.
Okay, this is the last topic, reflections and inspirations.
Okay.
What are you most proud of in your life?
My family. My family. Seeing what you guys have accomplished, seeing the way that you're shaped, it is unbelievable to watch. Unbelievable to watch. To me, the biggest accomplishment is being a father to the three of you and being a husband to mom. That is the biggest accomplishment.
Is there something you've always wanted to do but haven't yet?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do. So my dream car, you can see it, can't you?
Oh,
the Shelby Cobra.
1968?
1965 or 1964
1965.
Shelby Cobra. 428. We're building the garage. It's going in the garage. Can't wait for that day. You're going to hear about it. I've been waiting. What's that?
You're going to get in trouble.
Oh yeah, we're going to get in trouble. We're getting some speeding tickets in this car. I cannot wait for that. I want to do that. I want to speak in front of thousands of people and impact them and watch them leave in a way that they're going to dynamically change your life. I want to write a New York Times bestseller. We're actually working on my next book right now, and I'm hoping it's a New York Times bestseller. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to follow all the structures in order to make that work. I've set my sights on a new figure for our family. Well, if we could reach this level of net worth, why can't we reach this level of net worth? I have that in my mind. We now support five missionaries around the world. Mom and I want to move that to 25. I want our investments to produce more income than our actual take-home pay from our actual salaries. That's something we want to do. So there's some things that we want to move forward in our family with in order to impact you guys, grandkids, and the community we had the privilege of serving.
How do you envision the next 10 years of your life?
It's a lot of change. That's what I envision. I figure the next 10 years, we relaunched another company. It's going to be a 7-figure company. Think about this, guys. Think about this. You've seen me work in business. We relaunched a coaching business. We had our first client in September of last year. We're not even a year into this, and it's going to be another 7-figure company in less than a year. Because we know basic business principles, and it works. And so we're now teaching people the same thing. So if that continues to scale, I can see us having a very, very impactful business that's going to help hundreds, if not thousands, business owners in the next 10 years. I see me speaking on stage. We also see you guys will be all out of the house in the next 10 years. You're probably going to be married in the next 10 years. There may be grandbabies in the next 10 years. I may go to Africa in the next 10 years and leave you at home. There's all these things that we want to do in the next 10 years. So I see a lot of change happening in the next 2 years. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I don't live in any regret. I think it's going to be a fun season to watch what's going to happen.
Last two questions. What legacy would you like to leave behind?
How about if they said this? He did everything he knew how to do to serve Jesus.
Last question. What advice would you like to pass on to the future generations?
I think I would say this. Make Jesus the center of your life. The absolute center. Everything in your life can be couched against him and the biblical principles he taught. Everything can be couched against those. If you are facing uncertainty, compare it to Scripture. If you're facing desires, compare it to Scripture. If you're facing trouble, turmoil, whatever it is, resistance, whatever you're facing, compare it to Scripture. And realize that there's nothing that you can face that somebody else has not already overcome. There's nothing in life that is going to prevent you from reaching your desires except for you. Nothing. Whenever you reach the point where you're giving advice to somebody around life's advice, I would want you to say, I lived the best life possible because I followed biblical principles and because I faced adversity head on. God equipped you uniquely, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. No one else out of the 8.2 billion people on earth have your story, your DNA, your calling, your vision. No one else has that. Only you do. And so it's up to you to charge forward with the pathway that God has in front of you. And don't let anything stop you. So here's a question for y'all. What would your kids ask you? And how would you answer it? Had no idea what he was going to ask me. No idea whatsoever. 25 questions, dude. What's interesting about these answers is that they know me. My daughter's over here on this camera. Son's here. They're in the office working today. They know me. Did any answer I give you surprise you? Any answer I give you surprise you? Both of them are shaking their head no. Your life has to be consistent. And whatever you're talking in the business environment, at the home front, in the church house, in the ball field, whatever it is, all has to be the same thing. And what you hear from me day in, day out, through social media, through the podcast, through me speaking on stage, through my books, through everything we do, it's me. I live this. I believe this with all my heart. And I believe the success that we have in our life has been directly attributed to the fact that we don't pull punches, we charge hell relentlessly, we learn, we apply, we ask for forgiveness, but then at the end of the day, as a family, Joshua 1:8 says, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Do the best we can. What about you? If you had your kids in the room, could they answer the questions for you? If not, may I challenge you? They're your first priority, not your business, your family. Hope this today helps you. Y'all make it a great one.